Welcome to the Damn Good Average Bowler Educational Series, Segment 8, Accessories. I'm your host, Dustin Capps. With me as always, our pillar of knowledge, our local pro and very own CEO, Coach Michael Price. What's going on, Coach?
Glad to be back again, sir.
Yes, indeed. It's been a while since we've done one of these educational series, which we love doing. Make sure you go and check them all out. We got a lot of stuff in front of us.
Yes, we do.
As I said, this is Segment 8, Accessories. So, where should we start, Coach?
Well, there's a lot of accessories here in the bowling world.
Yep.
So we're going to start to your left.
Okay.
And we're going to work our way over.
All right.
First item up for bids, right there with the bowling pin, is the Columbia 300 non-slip grip cream.
Yep.
A lot of the older bowlers use the non-slip grip cream.
Yep. It almost looks like the Carmex.
It does. So they very much very popular amongst the senior level around here.
And that's just going to give you some grip. Okay.
Oh, it's very tacky.
Yeah.
It is very tacky.
But we're going to use it anyway.
Yeah.
Sorry, I couldn't resist.
Okay.
All right. So we're talking about grip right now. What about these guys moving up on
We've
top
got
here?
some rosin and we've got some hand conditioner.
All right.
And they come in the same package,
Okay,
but they
yeah.
serve two totally different purposes.
Yeah, so...
They both absorb moisture, but one of them helps keep your hands dry and the other one actually gives you a little bit of tackiness.
Okay. Now, with them being this close, how do you kind of figure out which one you may like better?
It really depends on, do you have dry hands or do you have hands that perspirate a lot while you're bowling?
Okay. Speaking of perspirating a lot while you bowl, this is actually one of them that I have. The grip ball.
The grip ball.
This was new because, as you know, and a lot of you guys know, have been watching, I took about a 17-year break hiatus, you know. So this was something new that I really like because you can just kind of hold on to this while you're bowling. You can set it down or whatever, pick it back up because it's not going to get anything on your hands, but it keeps them dry very well. So,
another thing that helps that too is the microfiber aspect of it.
Yes.
Because a lot of people just they want to hold on to they don't want to hold on to the rosin because that's like overkill.
Yep.
But then they just want to hold on to something that absorbs moisture, and
Yes.
the microfiber does that very well.
Really good, actually. And I have that same exact one. So, okay, moving along. And I see this box over here, Coach.
This is protecting tape. You can also see the Vice had a patch, number 1 and number 2, blue and red.
Yep, that's
Those are also different forms of protecting tape.
Okay.
And then the next one below that is grip tape.
Okay. Now, yep, so this is the protective tape right here again, in this bottom row, that's what you're talking about with the grip tape. Okay. Now, again, when I came back into bowling, I see tape as tape, right? And if you don't have a pro shop guy or a gal that's gonna be telling you, answering your question on what you need, again, kind of figure out what you're after. But even though it's all tape, there is protective and the grip, so there is a difference.
Tape is great for the bowlers that come into our store that do not want you to properly measure their hand at that time. They're looking for like a temporary fix to get them through league night before they bring it into you to have it repaired or fixed properly to their hand. So the protecting tape, we'll start with the protecting tape aspect of it first. It's good for calluses or blisters, which protective tape also goes hand in hand with skin patch too.
Yes.
So it's actually included in that family.
Yep. And so these are the ones you're talking about, and as well as this liquid skin.
Yes. And if anybody has ever used liquid skin, new skin, skin patch, whatever you call it, putting it on an open wound, you're going to feel the burn. I remember the first time when my dad put it on my thumb when I split right here on top of my thumb wide open, and as soon as he touched, that was a feeling like I was like, I don't want to feel this again.
It certainly lets you know you're alive.
Yes.
That's how I put it.
Absolutely.
And this is one of those, I'm not going to say I never used it, but it's rare that I need something like that. But when you need it, it comes in handy. So this is something good, actually. If you even just have a pack of something like that, I would recommend. We talked a lot beforehand, but...
Another example, if you will, protecting tape is great for those bowlers that go to tournaments and the long-winded format tournaments.
Yes.
You can even see the pros on TV are using some form of protecting tape because the long formats, we're talking like 10, 12,
Yeah.
20 games,
Yep.
40 games, and that's not even including the amount of practice one may put in on the tour, just as an example. So protecting tape is great to have on hand during those long-winded formats, and even in those league formats where if you're in the roll-off and you
Yeah.
have to bowl 6 games in a night.
Yeah, because if you're not used to that, then that could happen real quick. Because the only time I really needed it was last year in Montgomery at the Bob Learn Jr. seminar, because we threw about 10 games that day, which is a lot for me, right? And it's not like you just muscle through it, because you're getting a lot of friction on small little parts, man. And old Coach K will save my life with this stuff. So if I would have had some protective tape to protect my sensitive little, somewhere on my thumb, I think. But yeah, for sure, man. I mean, it's good stuff.
And another thing about it, if the bowler is not using protecting tape, then that means their pro shop operator is measuring and fitting their grip to a precise tee, which is absolutely wonderful. But protecting tape is always going to be a need, especially as I referred to earlier, long game format tournaments and qualifying and bracket rounds and so on and so forth.
And so that's all of these we've covered. And you mentioned your grip right there a little bit. That kind of reminded me of, I think, what we have next is, because the grip tape's going to help you hold on to the ball, right? But some of these things can, kind of the glove here, let's move up to this row. Do some people use these to try to get more grip on the ball to get some revs or something? What are we looking at? Talk to us about this row.
The Pro Force glove that you see right here, on the back side, it's tacky.
Okay.
What tacky does is allows you to stay like gripped to the ball, if you will, and create more side rotation to get around it. And it gives people, I'm not going to say illusion, because some people actually do notice a difference, but in some cases as well, it's been a good coaching tool to give off the illusion of, I kind of equate it to, to not to reference the Space Jam movie, but Michael's secret stuff.
Yeah, it's
And
like,
all it was water.
Sure.
You had it in you all along. But this actually is just a tool to help give that bowler a confidence to do what they need to do.
it could be in fact like a placebo type tool where it's like, this is helping me, where it's not, but it is. You think it is. So, but a lot of people do help that to grip onto the ball.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Then when you start going into like the Cool Fit and the leather positioner pluses, they actually have a metal brace in that, one, it keeps your hands from flexing. It's like in your backswing, you can't flex your wrist back, so it helps you maintain wrist position.
Okay.
Another thing that they are good for too is bowlers that have arthritic wrists.
Yeah.
Because that way it keeps your wrist in the same position the entire time. Now you look at the final one over here, the Pro Force positioner. It's almost like the Pro Force glove and the leather positioner plus had a baby, and out came the.
It's kind of like these two hit it off.
Exactly, and they came up with the best of both worlds. That glove over there on the end gives you the wrist brace feel of the leather positioner plus, while also on the other side of it where you grip it, the tackiness of the Pro Force glove.
Yep, I like that. And so again, let's just say as I had come back into the biz, and the reason that we started this whole educational series was for somebody that had been away from the game for a couple decades. So if I'm coming back in, and I haven't seen any of this stuff, and oh my gosh, this is new even, how do I figure out, or how does the bowler out there figure out, again, if they need any of this and what would be a problem?
All you need to do is come into Bowling World where I'm at, and we will let you try before you buy.
You hear that? Try before you buy. Where at, Mike?
At Bowling World.
Very nice. So you could try on all this stuff you need to beforehand.
Try before you buy.
I like that.
See if you like it. I will tell you, if you've never used a wrist positioner before, it is going to feel completely weird and you're going to feel out of your element. But there are more pros than cons. In the event that if you feel like you're losing your rotation, wrist braces are something to consider.
Yep. So check it out. You never know. So moving on, do we have the shoes next here? Okay. So I really wanted the shoes in on this. We discussed beforehand our shoes, accessories, what do we think, right? It's kind of like, maybe not, kind of 50-50. It was important for these to be up here for me because one of the few things in bowling I can speak from experience on is the quality of shoes. Again, I just experienced this the last year and a half, 2 years, so I want to tell you, right? I had a really sick pair of bowling shoes. You saw them. They were old school bowling alley type, but it was black and lime gray with black skulls. It's the sickest shoes I've ever seen. Loved them to death. And actually, Bob Learn and his crew signed them for me. But when you put those things on, you can tell they're only good for X amount of games, and they're falling apart. It feels like you're walking on like cardboard and a piece of leather. You know what I mean? There's no cushion, no anything like that. I loved how they looked, but not practical. I just upgraded my shoe game this past year. You know, the pair that I got to the what are they?
The Mavericks.
I didn't know I got the Mavericks. That's cool. But huge difference. As soon as I put those actual good bowling shoes on, it was such a world of difference. I'm not even over exaggerating. I'm not kidding. Anything like that. So, Coach, I'll shut my yapper on the shoes.
Felt like he was walking on clouds.
Oh my gosh! Yes.
It's one of the things I am most impressed with KR's line of shoes is the insole. I had a hammer pair, a special edition pink pair. Felt like I was walking on clouds.
Yeah.
And we attest to that. The older we get, the more comfortable we want our feet to feel. So it is most definitely compounded, if you will, into like a number of factors. And if it's one thing about working in the pro shop, you almost have to be a really like more advanced shoe provider.
Yeah.
And just having your own quality pair of shoes is going to help enhance your game furthermore, even like the wrist braces.
So much.
So.
And not just walking on a cloud so comfy, but supported, secured. I felt like just a nice big Bowling World hug. You know what I mean? I love
You
it.
said what?
Bowling World. Ooh, that was a good one. That's a keeper. Okay. But I don't want to harp on it too much. You take over, continue for us, please.
So one of the cool things to notice, okay, we have an entry level shoe. This is the Brunswick Renegade, and these are the TPC high performance shoes from KR. What you'll notice about it is we have interchangeable heel and sole. And on this one, it's just more flat footed. The sole's there, the heel is there. And again, price point, entry level, high performance. There's also price points in the middle. We just choosing to display the beginner, professional, and a couple of cool features regarding the interchangeable heels and soles is, depending on what shoe you pick, I'm using this one as the example. These are the limited edition Blood Red Leukemia Foundation was getting, when these were new, they were getting a percentage per pair. And everybody out there knows just how much the Cancer Foundation's getting research and money for research, if you will, and how important that is to me and how close to heart that is. So, but these also come with a certain amount of heels and soles. You guys can see that. And the cool thing about these shoes and the shoe accessories, if you will, is depending on am I going to a bowling center that has wood approaches? Am I going to a bowling center that has synthetic approaches? The wood approaches are going to be a little bit more slicker than the synthetic approaches, which are going to be more tackier. So therefore, it's very important that we have the right combination. So for me, I have the 8 and I have the H7 on this shoe in particular that helps give me like the maximum efficiency and slide. Because I would rather slide too much than not enough. If I stick, I'm going to be in traction for a couple of weeks because of my knees.
Not funny.
Not funny. Funny, but not funny.
Right.
And another thing that also helps us in our bag of accessories here for shoes, if I'm still having trouble, and let's just say I go to the 10 sole and I'm still having trouble sliding, I always bring out a good old bag of Pure Slide.
And now, interestingly enough about that bag of Pure Slide, this one is kind of family members over here.
You can use this on your thumb if you're having a hard time slipping out of it. And, you know, it's also for the players that they don't want us to open up their thumb hole too much because they're afraid it gets too big and then they're dropping. So they get it just right, but it still feels a little tight and they can still just kind of pat their thumb. So it's versatile. You can use it on your thumb. You can use it on your shoes.
And that's a little one too. That's a little bag because I even just Prather I saw the other day. But a lot of them, they'll keep it right there in their pocket and just boop boop real quick and right back in the pocket. And then you need to dab on the shoes, dab on the thumb. I like that.
So, but that is the, like I said, entry level, High performance.
Now, one thing I do not have yet is a shoe brush. Now, I see a lot of people using them. I think I borrowed Greg's before once because I had something on there, but I've never had my own. So tell us about these and why.
These are really good to have just in case, especially like it's just said, you accidentally step into a little bit of water and then you're sticking, especially if it's on a synthetic approach. Even a wood approach is going to stick, but more so on a synthetic approach. You can use your trusty wire brush, try to get as much of that junk off the sole, especially if you don't have a replacement sole to put in its place.
Right.
Another thing they're good for too is they're good at cleaning the mess off here. So you'll see that right here.
Yeah.
And I mean, like it's
you
not
can
gonna
see it coming off like right into here. Yeah.
Yeah. So you see what that's going on now, and that's gonna help just get rid of those particles on the shoe, and you're gonna be back to hopefully sliding the way you were before. And always highly recommend having a shoe brush in the bag.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna throw one of those in my mix. And you said something interesting, and I think if you're a bowler and you have not stepped in a little touch of water yet, wherever you are, and have not had that lead catch from water, you haven't been bowling that long, because I think all of us have done that. Now, there is a very simple thing that I know most bowlers usually get, especially when they get the shoes, right? And that's the shoe shield right in front of us.
Yes, always good to have a pair of shoe protectors at all times, especially if your concourse is carpet and you can't really see a stain or a spill or something like that. It's always good. It's good for you to go outside, especially. I still wouldn't recommend putting a shoe shield on and going outside with it raining. I would just stay inside. But I would especially put the shoe shield on, especially if it's been raining and you got people coming in and going out and they're tracking all that stuff on your concourse and everything. So just be aware of your surroundings, especially when it's kind of been a wet day outside.
And I just feel safer and secure about myself when I have these on my shoes, period. Like as soon as they come off, I put those shoe condoms on, is what I call them, into the bowling ball bag. And I just like the fact that they're covered in the bag as well. You know what I mean? So I really, and I like two of these. Some people only get one on their lead, their slide foot, but I prefer to have two. That's just me.
And the Brunswick Shoe Shield does come with two.
Oh, look at that. I learned something earlier while we were doing a walkthrough, and that kind of leads us into it next. We were just talking about the shoes and all the differences with the better ones. And there's nothing wrong with this, because you said it very well. This is an entry-level shoe, right? There's nothing wrong with this for the amount of games you could bowl in it for a new league bowler. But we go from the shoe shield to the shoe slider. And now I thought that this was just a souped up, cut down version of those. I was wrong. So Coach, would you educate us on what the shoe slider's for?
So the shoe slider is a good fix and an inexpensive fix, I might add.
And again, these are the shoe shield, shoe slider.
You could put this shoe slider over the top of the sole here. I mean, you could do it on this shoe too. I mean, you can, but not really a big reason to do it on these, since you can interchange. But for bowlers with the economy-based shoes, athletic style shoes, if excuse me, if you feel like you're not getting enough slide, you want more slide, we just recommend an inexpensive $15 shoe slider, and that literally goes over the top of the sole, and that's pretty much a good diagnostic fix. And an inexpensive fix.
That's a step in the evolution of your game.
Absolutely.
So, okay, I like it. We are getting through all these accessories. Now, I believe one of the last things we're going to talk about is, as everybody knows, cleanliness is next to godliness. Keeping our balls clean. First off, tell us how important that is.
You wouldn't neglect to change your engine's oil every 3, 5, or 10,000 miles, would you?
Well, oddly enough, I actually have done that, and it didn't go well. We call that the exploder. So I would not do that again.
With the same analogy, it's the same thing with taking care of your bowling equipment. You want to keep your bowling equipment clean, and you want to do it after every time you've bowled, whether you've bowled a 3-game set in league, a 10-game set in a tournament, or whenever you just went and practiced for a little bit. You want to keep them clean. Do not give the dirt, oil, any of that stuff that can seep into the cover, into the pore of the bowling ball, especially reactive equipment, more so. Do not give that oil enough time to absorb into it, because it does rather quickly, and the more you can clean them, the better off you'll be. Now, that's not going to say that that's going to be the end-all be-all solution, which is why we use a rejuvenator to extract the oil that has really seeped into the cover. But this right here, maintenance is super important in today's game with this, as high performance as these covers are and high absorbed, high absorb, I'm going to say it like that. So it's very important. And another thing about it is you're probably wondering, well, what kind of cleaner should I get? We've got 4 cleaners right here that I sell in the shop. I've got the Big B, call it the pink stuff.
Yep.
I have the Powerhouse Power Wash, which has been one of my favorite cleaners for a very long time. We're talking 2005.
Yeah, all right.
And we've also started recently stocking CTD products. This is that wow factor, and the ever so popular purple stuff.
Wow.
And it smells like Fabuloso, and it smells really good. Another thing with the True Cut family is you see these pads up here.
We do, and I can see from back here. They probably can't see from where they're at, but I can notice that there's a different grit going all the way down. You want to tell us about those?
So starting here, this is 500, 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000.
Okay. Now, what I said during our walkthrough of these, because that's grit sandpaper pads, right?
Not sandpaper.
But an abrasive pad.
It's an abrasive, yes.
Okay. And my question to him was, a lot of the uneducated schmucks like myself that are trying to bowl.
Joel's gonna be proud of you. Hi, Joel.
I don't know if that's sarcasm or not.
No.
But do we have any business having these? I feel like I could screw up my ball really well with these and not know what I'm doing.
You bowlers that go to tournaments
Yeah.
have these as sets.
Yep.
Because you're bowling on a different oil pattern, you're bringing different equipment, you're trying to find the right matchup. Like, do I need a more grittier bowling ball? Do I need it duller? Do I need it a little bit more finer? And the good thing about this is as you start with the lower number, 500 is one of the most abrasive. It's not the most abrasive, but it's one of the most. And it will actually dull your ball to the point where that ball will actually start reacting as soon as it touches the lane.
Yeah.
So you're using energy, okay? And it even shows it right here. If you'll notice here, that's the ball motion, okay? We got traction,
Oh, look at that.
continuous, and it goes all the way down to angular.
Yep.
Which again, so we got 500, 1,000, 1,500. Those are relatively dull. You start getting to 2,000. 2,000 is dull in its own right, but it's a little bit more finer. As we go up in number, we go to a finer grit.
Yes.
And what that means is I could take your bowling ball with a 4,000 grit, and I would get done like putting it on a spinner or going over it with my hand, and you'd come in and go, Mike, I didn't ask you to polish it. I'm like,
Yeah.
I didn't polish it. This is what it looks like.
Yeah.
A 4,000 grit bowling ball done on a spinner especially will look like you put polish on it almost. I'm not going to say like it's not super shiny, because we can go shiny.
Yeah.
But it would give you the look you as you said earlier, not knowing.
Schmuck, I also threw in there.
Yeah.
You can use that.
Nah, that's for you and Joe. But not knowing, you would come in and go, I didn't ask you to polish it.
Right.
Well, I didn't polish it. And that brings me to another reference. You can also check out one of my TikTok videos. I did an example video of using all these grits on my Black Widow 3.0 on the spinner in real time.
Yeah, that's perfect. And there's all types of good stuff on there that you've done, shown us in the pro shop, and then with the previous segments that we've done here on the educational series, there's a ton of great stuff out there. So that's great to have. I actually have a set myself, and I always ask before I do anything, but I think it could be very, you need to know what you're doing with your stuff. But you talk about spinner in the shop, and this is one of the things that I got super excited about, because I think I'd gotten one of these, the basic ball holder, ball stand while you're cleaning your stuff. And I didn't know, and again, this is actually in the Montgomery thing, but I saw Cliff had one of those, the ones with the ball bearings in it, where you can put your ball in there and just to clean that. And I asked you ordered one of those for me, and I love that thing so much. It's one of those that just makes me happy to use. Sounds dumb, but I don't care. It's the small things in life. So, but that's one of the small things that I noticed personally, felt it helped me out, just having that. It's stupid, but still.
And they always say, work smarter, not harder.
Yeah. Yeah. Plus, it's easier than, dude, you ever try to clean your ball without one of those?
A little bit of a challenge.
A little bit.
A little bit of a challenge.
Like greased pigs, man. Okay. You mentioned something earlier when we were talking about these cleaners. I think most of us use the pink stuff around here anyways. But I believe I've heard that if somebody is in the market for a bottle of cleaner and a towel, that they might come see you.
Yep. Any 4 of these cleaners and this 40-year anniversary of Bowling World.
Of who?
Bowling World. 40-year edition microfiber towel. You can get, as long as we have these red towels left, $20 tax and all.
For the bottle of cleaner and the microfiber towel.
Yes, sir.
Yep. Now, that's not part of the deal, but next to it there, behind the cleaners, because we have, you had said it earlier really well, that back in the day we started with, it went from towels to microfiber towels to
chamois pads.
Chamois.
Chamois are the most common ones being used in league these days. There's the square chamois, there's the round chamois, they're the smaller handheld size chamois.
Yep.
Either way, chamois are the way of future as far as like usage of towels in the world of bowling.
Yep. Which I really like the sham pads these days. Of course, I always like my stuff to match, so I had to get one that matches each of my bowls.
And just so you know, not only a little bit of new school, but
show them that old school.
We go with the old school Perfect Shine Seesaw. Let's see, Perfect Shine, Seesaw, Ultra Shine.
I knew it as a buffer.
Buffer, Ball.
Yeah.
There's so many names that since I've been in the pro shop business almost 20 years that this has been called, but these are still very popular.
Who knew there'd be so many play on words when you worked with balls?
I'm telling you.
I did not know that, but we're learning. So, let's see, Coach. Have we talked about everything? I think we've covered everything on the table. And something that I just thought of, we didn't mention it before, but I thought of it when you were explaining the towels and stuff. We're showing you everything that he has in the pro shop, right? And all of the specific bowling accessories. I know that there is room. Figure out what works for you. You know what I mean? That's part of it. We talked about, I believe, segment 5, proper fit and grip of your equipment. Well, it's kind of the same purpose here. You've alluded to it, more than once already about that thumb hole. You know what I mean? Having a proper fit and things like that. So this is the stuff that Bowling World has that pro shops have. But if you think something's going to work for yourself, try it out. Or even dumb stuff, like I said, this makes me so happy. But I know people with like the car wash sham pads, you know what I mean? Like at Walmart, $3, something like that. Silly things like that, but just figure out what's going to work for you. Understand what your need is, and then get it taken care of. It's pretty simple, really.
Like I personally, I have 1-inch white grip tape. I have a towel. I have a chamois. I have a shoe brush. I have Pure Slide. Those are some of my most favorite ones that I use.
That is what's in his bag. Last segment we're going to do. And actually, I think the last thing, since we covered what's in your bag, and I talked about some of my things, we know that you have some tournaments coming up. Right now, is your accessories essential? Are those going to change whether you're just staying in the house bowling and whether you're going to go to tournaments, things like that? Like, will you add anything into your bag, do you think, for the tournament?
For me, it'll stay the same.
About the same?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, is there anything you cannot operate without?
I can operate without grip tape.
Okay.
I have to have 1-inch white grip tape. I cannot go without having a bag of Pure Slide, because you never know, even if they're wood approaches, how tacky they are going to be. I also always have my interchangeable heels and soles on hand. I don't normally use rubber because, again, I like to slide. But again, if this doesn't slide with the most, that's why I carry this. But with grip tape, I don't use protecting tape because, again, I am very blessed and fortunate that I do not have calluses or blisters on my thumb, but I do use the grip tape 1-inch white, as I said earlier, because I'm all about feel. That texture actually helps. It basically helps me feel secure in the ball without giving it the death grip, if you will. So.
All right. Well, I think we've covered a lot of accessories here on Damn Good Average Bowler Educational Series Segment 8. We thank you for joining us. Make sure you check out the previous segments if you have not. And I'm going to let you tell us what to do. Since Curtis isn't here, unfortunately, he's working. We'll have you take us out, Coach Mike.
So, first and foremost, like, follow, subscribe on TikTok. Subscribing is only $2.99 a month, and get ready because there is a brand new seminar coming up in the middle of July. subscribers will have access to that absolutely free. So check that out.
That's gonna be fun.
Yes, it's gonna be a lot of fun. Really good stuff coming up. Also, give us a subscribe on the YouTube channel. That is absolutely free.
Yep.
And Facebook, like and follow us on there. And Instagram, also give us a follow. And that's pretty much it, my friend.
That's it. You know when you can catch us?
Mm-hmm.
On the
Flippity flip.
You heard it here. We'll catch you next time, everybody. Thank you.